then that my instincts really kicked in.
That was late.
I saw us walking for the exits.
That was late. That was late as hell. That was so... Your instincts suck! Your instincts are trash! Stop! Stop! That was not planned. Yeah, when I have the do-rag on, it's like the glasses have no grip. Okay, let's go. All them damn books. Hell no.
When I was a kid, I was homeschooled. So all the school that I did, I wouldn't even have to leave the house for. I lived at home with my parents and my 4 siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. So I was exactly in the middle. My mom was our teacher, and she would give us lessons and assignments to do every day. We lived in a pretty average house, but our backyard was fairly big. So when I was about 12 years old, I remember that one day our mom took a field trip with my younger siblings. My younger brother and sister were about 7 and 9, I believe, at the time, and my older siblings were both teenagers. They were going someplace for little kids, and so me and my older siblings didn't have to go. The 3 of us were left home alone because our dad was at work. We had assignments to do and would mostly just be in our rooms. Now, my 2 older siblings had their own bedrooms, but I had to share with my younger brother. Then my younger sister also got her own room. So there were only 2 of us that had to share a room. I often preferred to do my work in the living room or family room because of this. So a while after they left, it was pretty quiet in the house. I sat at a table in the living room doing my schoolwork. I randomly heard the back door to the house open. It was a sliding glass door that led to the back patio. It was sort of within my view, but kind of around a corner. I didn't even bother to look up because I just assumed that it was one of my siblings.
Wow.
But after they entered the house, I expected them to walk past me, but they did not. They would have gone past me if they were going to their room. The opposite direction was towards the pantry, garage, and my dad's home office. But whoever had entered the house just kind of stood there, it seemed. After a few seconds, I looked up and around the corner to see who was there. When I did, I saw some random guy standing inside our house.
That's gotta be traumatizing, especially at that age. What are you thinking at that? At that age, the age you are of that, like when that happened, you just, man. The mamas and goats, I'm saying.
It really took me by surprise. He wasn't looking at me, and I don't think that he noticed I was there. I saw him looking the other way towards the office. Then he began to walk over there. When he did, I quickly got up and ran for the hallway where my siblings' bedrooms were, as well as my own. Thankfully, we had carpet, and I ran quietly, or else I'm sure the guy would have heard me. I went to my sister's room and told her that there was a guy in the house. She had a phone in her bedroom, and I did not. She was confused at first, but believed me and called the police. Then we all ran across the hallway to our brother's room. All of us stayed in there waiting for the cops. We didn't hear anything as to where the guy was as we were in there. After what felt like forever, we finally heard a knocking on the front door. My brother went out to investigate and said that the cops were there. So we all left the bedroom and then left the house. The police searched the property and the house up and down, but the man was gone. However, he did leave the sliding glass door in the back wide open, and we never left it open. He didn't take anything, which was strange, but good, I guess. I'm not sure what he was after. The sliding glass door had been left unlocked, which is how he got in. After that, we always made sure to lock it, though. It was very strange because our neighborhood was quiet, and this was the middle of the day. Nothing.
I see you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You think just because your neighborhood is quiet, you think just because your neighborhood is safe, just because your neighborhood don't got nothing going on, you don't think nothing could happen? That's probably when the cluckies think the best time to do it, the best area to do it. Those safe white, well, I was thinking it. I didn't want to say it, but them safe neighborhoods. You know, the neighborhood that got the neighborhood watch. You know, The neighborhood that don't really got nothing going on. Nah. I'm definitely in there if I was a clucky. I'm not going to the neighborhoods that's always loud. I'm not going to neighborhoods that got stuff going on. Nah. See what I'm saying?
It had happened before, or happened after that when we all lived there.
You would have thought your mother and dad would have had protection considering how much children she had.
For 1 year when I was in middle school, I did homeschool. It was mostly just online, so it was pretty much like online classes for college, except there wasn't really a teacher. It was all done on this computer program and on the internet. So every day for school, I would just sit in my room at my desk and computer and do school there. Overall, it wasn't too bad, but I didn't really leave the house much. When I wasn't doing school, I would stay on my computer and usually play video games there as well. So one night, I was home alone and had finished my school for the day. I don't remember where my parents were, but I think they were gone. So as I was in my room at my computer, I remember that I was checking my email. I got an email from my school company. I don't remember the exact words, but the subject of the email said something like important. And I believed it said something like security action needed or something along those lines. I clicked it and it basically said that I needed to confirm my address to the school. It gave some reason, but I don't remember what it was exactly, and I probably didn't fully understand it. I just had to fill out this basic form, and I completed it and then submitted it and moved on. So that was that, and the next day, I remember that I did my school again like normal. After that, I played video games, and I remember that I stayed up late playing on my computer after my parents had gone to bed. But during this time, at probably after midnight, I got another email. It was from the same school email that I had received the night prior. This one had no words, but just a photo that was attached. The picture was of my house at night, on the street.
Okay.
I was so confused and also creeped out. It was very strange. I looked at the picture for like 5 minutes straight, wondering what was going on.
Go ahead and lock everything. Go ahead and check the checklist. Hey, nobody checked the checklist. Hey, nobody checked the checklist. Hey, daddy didn't check the checklist. Hey, mama didn't check the checklist. Hey, nobody checked the checklist. Hey, nobody checked the checklist. Hey, brother didn't check the checklist. Hey, sister didn't check the checklist. Hey, hey. I probably would have been a little suspicious with that first email. I'm not gonna hold you. And then you get the same one, but it's just a picture of your house. Yeah, we checking the checklist. We locking everything. Everything that can be locked will be locked. We locking doors on doors, windows on windows. We locking everything.
Went over and looked out of my bedroom window. I did notice that there was a car parked on the side of the road just past our house. The engine was off, and I couldn't tell if anybody was inside or not because it was too dark, but it usually was not there. Most of the time, cars did not randomly park on the side of our street. I was really freaked out. I went back to the email and just kept looking at it. Then I realized something. This was not the official email address from my school.
You think?
They had the same name and same logo, but the email for this was one letter off, which is why it was hard to see at a glance. This was somebody pretending to be my school. I had no idea who would do this or why, though. It wouldn't be one of my friends messing with me or something like that, because I wasn't even old enough to drive, and neither were any of my friends. This was so strange. I went back over and looked out of the window again. The car was still there. I thought about waking up my parents, but didn't. I went back to the email and blocked the account.
Because why?
Then I just hoped that nothing...
Because why? Why didn't you wake up your peoples? What you doing? Are you gonna take care of the situation yourself? Huh? That's what we doing? Okay. When you have help, we don't want it. Okay. So when you get clocked up, don't be looking for me. Don't be calling out for me. Don't do none of that. Cause you had to go. You could have just woke both of you. Hey, wake up! And explain to them the situation.
What happened? I went around the house and made sure that every door was locked, which it was.
There you go.
Then I made sure that every window was completely covered.
Hey, checking the checklist. I don't know how you got on this in this Cluck story, but I appreciate you checking the checklist.
A few were not, and I covered them. After that, I went back to my room. I checked out of my window again, and the car was still there. After that, I stayed at my computer playing video games to try to get myself to calm down.
Wow.
Eventually, I did. It was probably close to 3 a.m. by the time I was able to fall asleep. When I woke up the next morning, I checked the window, and the car was gone. I also checked my email and did not receive anything else strange. I went around the house, and there was no signs of a break-in or anything, so everything was all good. After that, I wondered if...
It's not all good, though. It's not. It's not all good. You gave a random person your address, and then they sent you another email with a picture of your house, and they stayed in your neighborhood. Probably what, a house or two down? And they just sat there for a Cluck time.
For a few days, but nothing else happened. I only did that school for that 1 year, and nothing else strange like that ever happened again. I still wonder who did it, and was that car on the street whoever took the picture? I mean, somebody had to know that I did that school program, and then they would have had to pretend to be them to get me to fill out the form for my address. But for what purpose? Just to creep me out with that picture? I'm really glad that nothing else happened.
Not yet. Not yet. Once they get your address, it's over. It's GG's. It's not ever over.
I did homeschool growing up. It was pretty cool most of the time, and I liked not having to go to a school every day. Another thing that I liked was that I could get my school done early and then have a lot more free time. This is something that happened when I was 14 years old. So one day, I remember that a new video game that I really wanted to get was coming out. This was back in the day, and the game was for PlayStation 2. I had saved up money from doing chores and birthdays and stuff, and I had a few $100s to my name. My plan was that very day the game came out for PlayStation, I would go to the local Target and buy it. But it was a school day, and my parents' rule for me and my siblings was that we had to get our school done before playing games. So I made a deal with my mom that I would get up super early and do all my schoolwork. Then she would drive me to Target as soon as I was done. And I believe Target opened at 8 or 9 a.m. or something like that. So that's when I was trying to finish by. So I woke up that morning before anybody else in the house. In fact, I woke up at 5 a.m. and it was still dark outside.
Jesus.
I left my room and headed downstairs to get my school books and start my assignments for the day. I figured that I could be done with everything by 8 or maybe 9 a.m. at the latest. Then I would have all day to game. So everyone's bedrooms were upstairs and my schoolwork was downstairs. As I had made it to the bottom of the stairs, I heard our basement door from around the corner close. I couldn't see it, but it was obvious.
Basement? I don't need to see it. If I heard a basement door close, and I'm the only one that's up, I'm 100% sure I know everybody's asleep. And I heard a basement door close.
But he had just closed it. Immediately, it set me on edge. The house was completely dark with no lights on, and it was completely quiet too.
Wow.
I didn't know who that would be. I was so creeped out that I instantly ran back up the stairs and went back in my bedroom. I thought about who it could be, but as I was in my room, I still wanted to get my school done. I figured that I was just being a wimp, and it was probably just my dad or...
You're not being no wimp. You're not being no wimp. Because I would have done the same thing. What are you talking... Well, I probably would have left the house. You know? And left every... of one of my family members inside the house and let them get clocked up because I'm not dealing with none of that. Yeah. I would have left my family behind. Word to my mother. Yeah. If I know everybody's sleeping in the house and I hear the door to the basement open and close, all I need to do is hear it. I don't need to smell it. I don't need to see it. I don't need to feel it. What's the fourth one? Taste it. Pause.
Be my sister. There had to be a logical explanation. So I psyched myself up and then left my bedroom again. As I walked down the stairs this time, I heard another sound. The sound this time was the front door to the house opening and then closing. This was also out of my view, so I ran over to a window that looked outside. When I did, I saw this random woman who I did not recognize leaving out the yard and then walking along the side of the street away from our house. I ran over to the front door and locked it. Then I ran upstairs and woke up my parents and told them what happened. They got up and looked around and found that the back door to the house was unlocked.
And whose fault was that? And whose fault was that? I'm clocking up everybody in the house. Oh, everything I love, boo-boo. I am locking. I'm clocking everybody. I'm clocking up everybody. I don't care about none of y'all. I could have got clocked up. And because I almost did, let's run the fade.
That the woman must have been homeless or something. Some of our cabinets and cupboards were open.
I don't give a fuck if she was homeless. All these other houses. You gotta come to mind. You picked the wrong one. On mothers, you picked the wrong one. What?
Nothing was missing. They thought that maybe she was looking for drugs or money. After that, though, I was able to do my school and get it done still at a pretty early time. I will never forget that, though. I'm sure that I scared that woman off, but I think I was probably way more scared than she was.
I don't care who was scared more than the other one. I don't give a fuck. Get out the house.
This is a really crazy experience I had when I was much younger. When I was a kid, I was homeschooled by my parents. I have 2 older siblings, and all 3 of us did homeschool. Most of the time, we would just stay at home doing our work. But occasionally, our parents would take us on field trips for school. Usually, it was to museums, parks, or the zoo, things like that. At one point, when I was about 6 years old, I think, we went on a field trip to the Science Museum. I was really young, but I do remember many details of this story still. I know we got there, and at first we went through a few exhibits all together and looked at stuff. Then we got to this one point in the museum that had a lot of interactive things.
Ooh.
There was some stuff that you could play with and try out.
That's nice.
So my parents sat down somewhere and let us kids play around in the area for a while. I don't remember a lot of the specific things that were there, but the area was mostly an open space with a few sort of more hidden spots as well. That day, I remember that the museum was pretty busy with a lot of other people there. So I was hanging out with my older siblings, and then I kind of wandered off on my own a little. I was near this tunnel that you could crawl through. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be, but I guess I must have been out of sight of my parents and siblings. When I was over there, I just remember looking up and seeing this guy dressed as a shark. He had a full shark suit on, and it was a friendly-looking shark, but I have no idea why he was there. I figured he was some kind of mascot wandering...
That's like saying, I don't care what the... That's like, nah. I don't care about no costume. It could be a Mickey, it could be a Barney costume. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what costume you got on. I don't care what makeup you got on. It's sus.
and giving high fives to kids and stuff. He stood there and reached out his hand, or fin, I guess. I gave him a high five, but then he grabbed my hand.
Oh, okay. Okay, he reached out his fin. I would have said, get the hell out of my face. Do it again. Do it again. Do it if you want to. I promise I'm cocking you up.
Grip was strong, and he did not let go. Then he started walking away with me. We were kind of in a corner where nobody else really was there. There were other kids fairly close by, but I guess they didn't really think much of it. The shark just started walking away with me. I was confused and didn't know what was going on at first. But then I thought maybe he was going to give me a sticker or bring me to my parents or something.
Really? With that Patrick-ass grip. Firmly grasp it.
It was anything bad, but he instead walked over to these doors that were almost hidden. It was an exit, but not a commonly used one. He opened the doors and we walked through into a back hallway type of area. Then we continued walking towards what I saw was exit doors out of the entire museum. These went outside. It was then that my instincts really kicked in.
That was late.
I saw us walking for the exits.
That was late. That was late as hell. That was so... Your instincts suck! Your instincts are trash. You got pluck instincts. Word to my mother, bro. You got it. Literally, as soon as he grabbed my wrist, grabbed my hand, grabbed any part of me tight, pause, I would have known something was up. And then, when I realized he was taking me away, or she, he, whatever, was taking me away from everybody else, I would have yelled out, "Help! Help!" Like, what?
That we were leaving. I did not want to leave, and I tried to pull away from the shark. He didn't let go, though, and he didn't say anything. That's when I stopped walking and tried harder to tug away from him. He stopped walking too, and when he did, I let myself fall to the ground. So he tried to pick me up, and that caused him to loosen his grip. That's when I finally broke free. I got up and ran as fast as I could down the hallway. I couldn't remember which door went back into the area where my parents were, so I kept running down the hallway until I saw other random doors. I didn't look back, so I'm not sure if the shark guy was chasing me or not. I went through some random doors and made it to another part of the museum. Then I wandered around until I eventually found my way back to my parents. It took probably 10 minutes. I told them what happened, and they reported it. I don't remember much else after that, but that was one of my scariest moments of my life for sure.
To be taken like that as a child has got to be traumatizing. And clock your parents.
I was homeschooled when I was a kid. I remember that when I was young, for a few years, I went to this homeschool group. It was kind of weird because the whole point of being homeschooled is doing school at home. But once a week, all the homeschooled kids in the area would meet at this community center. We would basically do school together that one day a week. I only did it for a few years, I think when I was about 7 to 10. There would usually be about 20 other kids or so in my grade there. My family lived in a pretty populated area in a large neighborhood. The community center was just down the street and a couple of blocks away, so sometimes I would walk there. One day, I had walked to the community center for the homeschool group. We did our school for a few hours, and then a couple of my friends and I stayed after playing outside for a little while. The other kids were staying after and talking, and we were on the playground that was next to the building. The road around it was very quiet and kind of winding. As we were
I think I asked this question before, but not to be like weird or sus, because I still like going to the playground. I know that sounds crazy. But when it comes to a playground, what's your go-to playground? I mean, what? No, what's your go-to thing to have at a playground? For me, I think of two things. One thing for sure and one thing for certain. For sure, a playground gotta have swings. For sure. And then the other one, for certain, it needs to have a merry-go-round. But not the one with the horses. The one that, it's like a flat thing. I'll show a picture. But it's like a flat thing, and it got rails on it. And somebody on the outside pulls it. Or you kick it with your feet. And you go fast as hell. You try to jump out. And you get yourself clumped up. Hey, hold on now. Also, the floors of a playground. What's your go-to? Is it sand? Is it those wood chips? Is it those? I don't know what it's called. Those. It kind of looks like basketball or gym mats. I don't know.
And had been for a while. I remember that a car came down the road and pulled over sort of near where we were.
Oh no.
The door opened and a man got out. He started to walk on the sidewalk, and I didn't think much of it because he was walking away from us, and soon he was out of sight. We continued hanging out outside for a while. I remember that maybe 15 minutes later, I heard a noise in the nearby woods that bordered the community center property.
Okay.
I looked over and saw that same guy now walking through the woods kind of. He was like 3 feet in, and he was not making a ton of noise, but I could hear him. I didn't know why he was in the woods, but I still didn't think too much of it. He walked through the woods.
I don't care the reason he's in the woods in the first place. If he in the woods, he clocking up. He a clucky. The point blank period. I'm still trying to come up with a word for clucky. I mean, to mix cluck or clucky with woods. Maybe I can just make up a random word. I don't know.
Till he was sort of back at his car. Then he left the woods and went back into his car. At that point, he drove away. We remained outside for another 10 minutes or so probably. Then the other kids started to leave because their parents wanted to go, and I decided that I would walk home. So I left the community center and began walking down the sidewalk towards my house. When I had made it only about 2 blocks away, I heard a car driving up and approaching from behind. I expected it to drive past, but it slowed down. I looked over, and it was the same guy from earlier. He was driving his car really slow so that he was not passing me. I found this to be very suspicious, so I started walking faster, not knowing what else to do. The car just trailed me, looking about as sketchy as it possibly could. The longer that I walked, the more I was feeling unsafe. As I passed one of the streets, I saw one of our neighbors that my parents were friends with. This was not on our street, but one that was connected to it. The neighbors were a husband and wife who lived in the house there. I saw the wife was outside and gardening up by the house. I quickly walked into their yard and then went up to her. She said hi.
You walked in their yard while the wife was doing the yard? That's crazy. That is so disrespectful. That's I'm catching a case today because ain't no way. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? You doing your yard and somebody's walking on your yard. Jesus. That's almost equivalent. No, it's not. I was going to say that's almost equivalent to me buying a brand new pair of Adidas from the Adidas store. I put them on, and as soon as I walk outside the store, somebody walks on top of my shoes. I'm catching the case. On mothers, I'm catching the case. Word to my mouth. Yo. What? Yeah, it's over. It's wraps. It's GG's. Yeah. Same thing with the North Face. Because I'm a huge fan of the North Face. Hey, the company, the North Face, look up where that name came from. It's really disturbing. Because I think it has to do with the actual mountain. It looks like a face, but I forgot what mountain it was. But, yeah, no, well, I'm breaking bones, like, oh, mothers.
The car kind of stopped in the road. I told her that a car was following me, and she looked over to see the guy still sitting there. When she looked at it for a few seconds, the car then quickly drove away. She told me to come inside, and I did, and then she called my parents. They came over and walked me back home. I'm not sure if they called the cops or not, I don't remember, but I'm really glad that my neighbor was outside that day. If the car found out where I lived, the guy may have come back another time, or who knows what would have happened. It was really sketchy, to say the least.
Come back if you want to. Come back if you want to. I'm clucking all that up. I wasn't prepared before. But the next day, come back if you want to. I'm clucking your car up and you up. You and your car are going to leave my property in a clucked up situation. In a worse situation than when you came to my sheds. I don't play that. I do not play that. Come by if you want to. You better be glad we got telekinesis. Oh my God. Keep it cool. Keep it cool, keep it classy. And I love you. Stay happy. My family.